Good evening. It's After Campfire. If you're watching this during the daytime, good day. If you're watching it in the morning, why are you awake this early? Good morning. Good morning. Um, how are you? How are you doing? How's life? How's everything been? It's Tuesday night. Why is it Tuesday night, you ask? Well, I cheated. I wanted to do something. I wanted to talk about something because I didn't want Henry to have to talk about it because I want to talk about it because I'm a selfish human being. What am I talking about, you ask? Stuff. We'll get right into it because my name's Sam Rubenstein. This is After Campfire. It is a Tuesday night, and let's talk about it. So, I wanted to start by giving the fun life updates because Henry gets to give life updates. Life updates. I'm doing well. I'm doing pretty cool. I had my first ever allergic reaction last Thursday, and had to go to a doctor because my body was purple and swollen and giant, and that's crazy. That's it. I had an allergic reaction, never had one before, did not know what it was like, and I have too high of a pain tolerance to know that there's a problem until I'm dead. So thankfully, I figured out that there was a problem slightly before then, and now I'm here. Which was why the whole experience was insane. But I'm glad, that I know now that I'm allergic to certain things. So that's one crazy thing that happened. Two, now that I'm vaccinated, I started seeing people again, and it's so nice being fully vaccinated and seeing other friends that are fully vaccinated. Literally, I cried like that. That's where we're at. It's such a relief, and if you're like, I don't know if I'm going to get vaccinated, please get your vaccine, get your good time juice, and just do it. Just do it, please. Just do it. In the pandemic, just do it. And so it was wild. I went to a friend's to celebrate their engagement, and it was just so nice to see them and be a person around them, and I loved that. The next thing is today, the whole reason I cheated is because I wanted to talk about the Chauvin trial and case and kind of what's going on with that. So for those who don't know, we got the verdict from the Chauvin trial today around 5:30 ish, Eastern Standard Time, just to clarify. And he was found guilty on all three charges. That's 1, 2, 3 charges, and that is a very big piece of good news. It means that someone is being held accountable for something. But it also was wild that we had to say, as a society, we all watched the video of this guy killing this guy. Now let's find out if he's guilty of killing this guy, even though we saw it on tape. And I'm glad that we all, sanity prevailed in this situation. Now, since this has happened, there's been protests, there's been a lot going on, and there's going to probably continue because the truth is, this is not the end. If we want to keep moving forward as a society, we need to keep holding people accountable. We need to demand change and equity and provide opportunity. And so I wanted to take a moment to just breathe and acknowledge that, at least in this one case, in this one moment, there was some semblance of justice in the world, and that makes me happy. I have no other way to explain that. It makes me so happy. I'm so tired. Why am I tired, you ask? I joined a hatchet throwing league with my friend Melanie and my friend Ivan. Melanie Byrne, Ivan Booth, we throw hatchets together. None of us are that good, but Melanie and I had our first ever practice today where you get 6 hours of free practice that you can use. So we went, we practiced for an hour, we threw, we weren't that good. I'm so tired. You don't realize how physically demanding that is until you're 45 minutes of just throwing without stopping, and you're just oh, my poor arms and legs are so tired. But we did it, and that's what matters. It's good exercise. It's fun. I recommend everyone that has not thrown a hatchet to throw a hatchet at least once. So I'm so tired, but like I'm gonna do this because I really wanted to make sure this got done today. Um, as for my question to Henry, um, I asked Henry if he could pick a series or book or movie or something and remake it so that it would be better. What would he pick? And the answer that he picked was the exact answer I knew he was going to pick. And like, I'm not mad. I knew it was coming. I just wanted an answer that wasn't that. Um, but the world is exactly as you expect it sometimes. You win some, you lose some. So, with that said, my choice um, is a really specific one that is that I really want done right. So, for those who don't know, I love the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series. I've read all the books. I love the stories. I love everything about it. I love the concept that of what these kids represent. Um, this idea of just being people lost in time, and feeling like you have to hide, and how this group compares to other groups. Uh, Usually, a lot of times people compare it to like X-Men, and I mean, you can see both sides of it, but I find the story to just be a lot better. Um, and so, my answer to this question is that series. So, what happened was that series existed, and then Tim Burton was like, I'm going to make that series into a movie. And like all things coming from Tim Burton recently, unfortunately, it was really not good. He ruined so much of it. And I can't even stress how frustrating that is for me. Um, because he essentially tried to cram in all three books, sort of, into a single movie. And like, there's four books now, but at the time, he tried to cram all three books into a single movie. And it was so awkward to watch. He changed certain characters' ages, he changed the way certain characters acted. He literally role reversed and age reversed two characters, which is absolutely ridiculous. He weakened the main character of Jacob exponentially. He made Olive, who in the book series is like 7, into the love interest, and ruined what her peculiarity is. For those who don't know this series, Olive is a girl who, with no control over her own body, floats. She is pretty much just helium. And so she spends the entire book series having to run around in lead boots, which sucks for her. But she's 7. So like she is hilarious, but she is not the love interest. She is not a good love interest. She is not a good main character. And there's this one scene where they go to a ship that's underwater, and she just like blows it dry. But that's not how her powers work. That's not how ships work. That's not how any of it worked. Like, it was so stupid. And so I would like it a lot more if they took that series um and made it good. Like, I don't even know how many different things I could talk about this book series, like, and go through each part, um and like all of the terrible changes that they made. So like, where do I don't even know where to start. So like, first off, your main character is Jacob. Okay, Jacob, his grandfather was a peculiar. His grandfather's name is Abraham, by the way. Abraham dies in this terrible, awful experience, and Jacob ends up, while following the trail of his grandfather's death, unfortunately, um, meets the peculiar children, and this is where I think like the whole bit is a little bit weird. He falls in love with the girl, who, by the way, is like in her 80s in reality, um, named Emma. Like, there's a lot there. There's the amount that needs to be unpacked to explain this series is so much. Um, but essentially, it's a really cool romp throughout space and time with a bunch of mutant children to save the world and fix society. Favorite characters in it, by the way, in case you were wondering. Millard, great character. Power, invisibility, hilarious. Doesn't like really likes to be very well dressed. Ironically, invisible. Often ends up walking around naked as a result of it. No one's comfortable with it, and I think that's hilarious. Um, who else? Um, ugh, I love Enoch, but I hate Enoch so much. Enoch can make anything that's dead alive again, and that's terrifying and awesome. Emma, okay, so this is another complaint that I had with this movie series. Okay, this one movie series. So Emma is a stone cold killer, best female lead in like almost any book. She is powerful. She's independent. She is wise beyond her appearance in because she's really in her 80s, but like looks like she's like 15. Um, and she's just a stone cold killer. There is a scene in the first book, or I think it's the first book, where Emma literally sees a villain, grabs him by the face, and just melts his head. And I strive for that level of confidence in my life. So, because they ruined this entire series, because they destroyed everything of it, because it could have been great. I want them to fix it, please. Like, please. Um, Make it into so if you want to like really understand what they should do, they should take this series, they should make it into a TV show, and really explore the depth of these kids' powers, their abilities, their purpose in life, what they're doing, why they're doing this, what matters, what doesn't matter, um, and really get a good understanding because we don't get a good understanding of the Imbrans, which are the witches essentially that control the world of the peculiar, specifically Miss Peregrine, who is just the coolest. Her powers literally include turning into a bird, manipulating space and time, um, and like realistically, like that's the coolest power ever. Um, I'm trying to think like what else. Like she essentially is magic. Like that's what she comes down to being. Um, Now as for the series and where it's on its fifth book. I haven't read it yet. I've read the first four, and like it's a whole new trilogy. It's a follow up trilogy. And it's probably going to be great, but make this just please make it into a TV show. Give us the depth of the characters that we deserve. Give us the intense and impressive character arcs. Like you have this amazing character like Jacob, who starts out just thinking that he doesn't fit in the world, being told he's a loser, kind of having this idea that like he doesn't matter. He's in therapy because he's paranoid and anxious, and it turns out he is right. He should be paranoid. He should be anxious. There's been a reason for it his entire life. Um, and you just explore this wild mystery. um, that just goes throughout space, time, and like it's just so cool. You watch all of these characters develop into from like jokes essentially. Many times they're like jokey at the beginning to a very serious idea of like what they can and can't be. I don't know. I want this series to exist so badly as like a TV show. Put it on Netflix. I will watch it. I'll produce it. I'll make it happen. We'll give the characters like the depth they deserve. I just I can't imagine the fact that they made this hot garbage. Um with that in mind, on to Henry's question, which is what's something you could talk about forever? And the answer to that is really simple. I can talk about several things for long periods of time. One, books, poetry, writing, any art thing. I can talk about art forever. Two, animation. I think it's a beautiful medium. I love good animation. I love brilliant writing. I love brilliant design. I think that we don't talk enough about animation. Three, psychology. I love psychology. Surprise! The psychology major who has their master's in psychology loves psychology. I can talk about it forever. The human brain is a wonder, and I miss it terribly. Um, and the last one, music. I love music. I can talk about music forever. Those are four things that if you give me the chance to speak about, I will talk about until I die. Why? I can. I can talk about anything for long periods of time. Like, I'm really good at talking. But I limited it to four, so that's my answer. Now, with that said, I have an interesting question for Henry. Something we haven't done before. Henry, I need. So, like I said, my friends are getting engaged. Well, they're not getting. My friends are engaged, and I am in the I am a groomsman for this, and so like we're trying to figure out what we're doing for his bachelor party. And to that, Henry, I say, plan my bachelor party. What does my ideal bachelor party look like to you? What are we doing? Where are we going? Did I ask this question before? I feel like I might have. But either way, I think it was I said what's my I asked like to plan my own. You planned your own. Switch it. What is my ideal bachelor party? And I'll think of what I think yours is. And we'll talk about it and it'll be fun and adorable. That's it. Have a beautiful day. Stay safe. Stay gold, pony boy. And please, Netflix, not even joking, let me make that series.